Okay. So a little bit of background about me and about the project. As for me, my name is Daniel. I've lived in Santa Clarita Valley most of my life. I'm a water treatment operator in training, so water is a big part of my life. Um, and right now I'm a COC WaterTalks intern. So I'm passionate about water and the environment. The WaterTalks program is a 3-phase program. The first phase is about education and outreach, and that's what we're doing right now. We want to educate the Santa Clarita community about just about the water supply, water quality, and just give them more education so that we can find the problems within the community that need to be fixed that are water related. And that would be the second phase. And the third phase is where we can actually use state-funded money to improve upon those water-related issues. Water in our environment, it's everywhere. We use it water sustains life. We use it for recreational purposes. We have Castaic Lake. We have a bunch of nice parks around Santa Clarita that utilize water. Water decreases temperature around the city just by having a bunch of plants. Definitely makes a big difference. And I'm also going to be talking about tap water quality, where we get it. And yeah. And during these title slides, like I said before, I'll be asking if anyone has any questions. If anyone does, I'll respond to them. But yeah, let's get into it. And WaterTalks, this is a little bit about what I already said before. It's a public program to generate and increase community involvement in water management in California. Participants can learn about the state's water, raising questions and concerns about their our community, and identify community needs. We'll be teaching about like where supply comes from and learning about water saving statistics that could help you save money around the household as well. We have two major funding sources. One was from a Proposition 1 of year 2014. It can be water-related projects. All water-related projects can be funded with this money. And Measure W was in 2018, where the major focus was stormwater capture projects. Yeah, and in total, this is for the whole California, and later slides we'll talk about how much is actually going into our region. Oh, later slides is literally the next slide. So we're in the Los Angeles and Ventura WaterTalks area, IRWM region. What we're going to be, or this map is showing, thank you, Isabel. This map is showing our area, and it further breaks down into smaller areas, ours being in the Santa Clarita or Santa Clara River watershed. Okay. And like I said, the Integrated Regional Water Management Planning Act, or IRWM, created regions that split the LA Ventura areas into smaller areas. Ours is the Upper Santa Clara River IRWM. It provides a framework for collaboratively identifying and implementing regional water solutions. We're one of 3 Southern California planning areas, along with Greater LA and Watershed Coalition of Ventura County. Jobs related to water. Like I said before, I have a job related to water. I'm a water operator in training, a water treatment operator. There's a ton of like water jobs. It's weirdly not talked about, especially going through high school. I didn't find it till even after I went to university, but I'm very passionate about this, and even learning about WaterTalks through COC and learning about my job also through COC. It just is cool to see that there's different ways to get into the water industry. You can be doing a water treatment operator. You can be in conservation, doing stormwater management, or you can even just be at the desk of like a water and power for a major city. Are there any questions? And our community is located in the upper Santa Clara River watershed. It's a little bit harder to see our maps, but on this map, the black outline is the Los Angeles County. The bigger black outline that Isabel was originally highlighting over, that's of the Santa Clarita Valley. That's actually, and then the red marker is the upper IRWM region. This slide is a little bit of a summary, just of how all of the water systems are connected, including the natural systems and of our man-made systems of water reclamation systems. Rainwater, surface, and groundwater systems are integrally connected. Rain falls to the earth and collects on the surface or underground. Surface water flows into rivers, streams, and reservoirs. And groundwater is precipitation that seeps into the earth's soil and rock formations stored in aquifers. Water can be pumped from underground reservoirs known as aquifers using wells. And yeah, aquifers, just to make it more simple, is just water underneath the ground. It's soil-soaked soil-soaked water that we can pull up using wells. And this slide is talking about urban runoff. Our local streams, rivers, and beaches, and even groundwater aquifers are impacted by pollutants that include trash and litter, pesticides and herbicides, broken down brake pads from cars, fecal matter, and many other pollutants. This can come from residential areas or from the industry, as you can see from this photo. And even wildfires, and because it's been a tough year for wildfires in Santa Clarita as well. This map is kind of talking about the different watershed areas and around Santa Clarita. The main one we want to focus on is the smaller black border that circles Santa Clarita Valley. And that shows that we are above the Santa Clara River Valley watershed. That is the light blue colored aquifer. Yeah, and we can't actually see that. This is just a photo of or like an interpretation of what's underneath Santa Clarita and where we get our water pumped from. And yeah, as the slide talks about, there's other basins. There's Antelope Valley Basin and Acton Groundwater Basin. We don't necessarily pull it from the area that we're focused in the Santa Clarita, like eastern part of it. But yeah, the more east you go, it goes to Acton and the Antelope Valley Groundwater Basin. And yeah, this slide is talking about FEMA's defined flood zones. 100-year flood is equal to 1% annual chance that it will flood in the area. So even if it doesn't mean that every 100 years this is going to happen. It just means that there is a 1% chance every single year that there could be a flood in this particular region. This photo shows the areas where there's a larger flood risk. And a lot of the areas highlighted in light blue are next to the Santa Clara River. And while you might not see water running above the Santa Clara River, riverbed, below it, there's still water being collected in as groundwater. And water bodies and the habitats and open spaces support contribute to quality of life in our community. I mean, water's pretty. You have trees and plants all in parks that we all love to go to. I grew up in Castaic, going to Castaic Lake, either enjoying being in the water or just admiring it from a distance. And certain contaminants can pose a health risk to those that recreate and eat fish from streams and rivers. And like in previous slides, it's from urban runoff and from industrial purposes as well. Yeah, land use affects how water moves in this photo. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's a lot of light gray and medium gray areas within Santa Clarita. The map/photo kind of shows that there's that's low intensity and medium intensity developed land that could be businesses and that could be residential areas. So those are a lot of like that like increases the risk for having urban runoff and other industrial wastes. And also it says in the slide, developed land often consists of hardened impervious surfaces. So water has a lot harder time getting back into our aquifer, and the water will go downstream towards the ocean, away from Santa Clarita, where we don't or we just aren't saving as much water as we can. Untreated water is called urban runoff and can carry automotive fluids, trash, pesticides, and other pollutants. And yeah, it can go the other way around. Too much water can result in flooding and erosion. These photos are a type of like green sustainability in the city. I think these are taken from Los Angeles, or different parts of it. The two top ones are green streets. Those promote capturing rainwater from sidewalks that have like planters in them, have trees, shrubs, and grasses that make the city look more pretty, makes the water retention better, and also it just, yeah, I don't know, it just increases the look of the city. And even in the first photo, it shows that they have a bike lane right next to it too. The bottom right photo shows a drought tolerant and a native type of house garden, which is really cool. And the bottom left is just a rainwater storage system. That's not as popular because it potentially can have bad consequences of bringing mosquitoes, but it's still a really cool concept. Are there any questions? Cool. All right, great. Our tap water. So about 41% comes from the California State Water Project. That means it's taken from like the reservoirs all the way up from Shasta, Lake Shasta, and sent down through the California State Water Project, and it goes to Castaic. That's where we get most of our water from in Santa Clarita. And 22% is water recycling. That's non-potable water, so we're not drinking that water, but it is from reclaimed water from wastewater places, and that the water will be used for recreational purposes such as being used at grasses at parks or at golf courses. And then 37% of this water is groundwater that we got from our basin. And yeah, this slide also further talks about what we did in the previous slides about how there's different groundwater basins, but our area is focusing mainly on the Santa Clara River Valley East groundwater basin. Cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, this slide is really cool too. How much does one person drink? It averages to about 8 cups per day of water. So that's about 1 gallon per every 2 days. And that goes to about 182.5 gallons per year. This chart is kind of unbelievable, but it's something I swear by just because how much water you can save just by drinking your own tap water versus buying bottled water. Per gallon, a bottled water will cost you like $7.70, whereas tap water will cost you less than even a cent for a gallon. And yeah, a lot of people have been afraid of drinking tap water. It took me a while to get used to it, and I only drink tap water as long as I could help it. And whatever, I mean, it's safe to drink because the regulations that are put on tap water are even more stringent than they are for bottled water. The EPA has certain maximum contaminant levels that they have to, that local municipalities have to abide by to make sure that water is safe to drink, even from the tap to the local community. And Santa Clarita has very safe drinking water. And this is average consumption per day per person is 85 gallons. That includes showers, washing clothes, the toilet, and even from the faucet. And that equals to about 31,000 gallons a year per person in a household. So how can contaminants get into my tap water? They can, like we said before, they can be from industry or urban runoff. They could be naturally occurring, and they could also be part of agricultural and land use practices. How often is my water tested and reported? There's quarterly testing for water agencies, and annual reporting is required by the State Water Resources Control Board. What is my water tested for? It tests for contaminant levels. Like I was saying earlier, the maximum contaminant level. If it goes greater than that, agencies must notify all customers. What is an exceedance? An exceedance occurs when a concentration of a contaminant is above the established safe threshold and could potentially cause a threat to human health. If this occurs, agencies are responsible for sending an unsafe water notice to all customers and instructions on how to proceed when using tap water. Yeah, at the bottom right, there shows a link to yoursevwater.com and water quality, and there you can find the 2020 water quality report page. And yeah, if you want to learn more about that, go ahead and click the link. And water service providers in our area, it's all SEV Water. They do have different divisions. There's the Newhall Water Division, which covers Newhall area, but also Castaic, and I believe it's like the very eastern Santa Clarita area, probably Sand Canyon area. And then there's the Santa Clarita Division, which is the main division. It's in the light gray, and that covers the area for this WaterTalks event. And then there's also the orange Valencia Water Division. Yeah, and this is just a average cost per month per household in different areas of Santa Clarita. Yeah, there's Santa Clarita Division, Valencia Division, and the Newhall Division. And like the other slides before said, it's 85 gallons per person per day on average water consumption. Here's more information about contacting your local water agency and division. You can go to yoursevwater.com. They have a bunch of information there. And same with this page too. And yeah, for how do you get involved? So this is really important. If you like, what we want to do here at WaterTalks, like we were saying with the first phase, is we wanted to educate and reach out to our community. And the next step would be the engagement. We want we want the response. We want the community to tell us how the state can help fund the projects or the issues that the locals might have pertaining to water. And yeah, these are other ways you can get involved too. Go to our watertalks.csusb.edu, attend local IRWM committee meetings, and sign up for future updates. And this is essentially what I was talking about last slide. For phase 3, once we get we hear back from the community, we can go into phase 3 and actually put the money aside that we have from the state and from the propositions and make an impact and listen to the suggestions and have a bunch of different changes, whether it's to water quality or to infrastructure around the community to create more sustainability and more green environments. Yeah. And more links, Erica's sending them out into the chat, and I really appreciate that. There's the IRWM website, and you can join the mailing list too if you click that link. And there's also another link to our website, the WaterTalks. And something cool too, if you take the survey, you could potentially win $100 every month. The survey, like I said, it's very important that we listen to the community, and if you could just reach out and click those links and get to our surveys, we'll be gathering community input, and then yeah. Erica's sending me this link, and it's a survey available at watertalks.csub.edu. So make sure to go to our main website. Yeah. And I believe that